It's like, how long are we going to go on with this insanity?
Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner like camping out trying to get the shoe. Nike just pulled off the biggest corporate facepalm of the decade, and A'ja Wilson is absolutely fuming. After dumping mountains of cash into hyping up Wilson's brand, while meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was out here setting social media ablaze every time she so much as ties her sneakers, Nike finally snapped out of it. Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here. She's made a cameo there. She was featured as part of this rollout here. Featured as part of this rollout there. But is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial? They've spent years betting the farm on the wrong superstar. Now reality has smacked them upside the head. And as they pivot toward the woman who actually makes cash register sing, Wilson's throwing a meltdown that's downright theatrical. Because let's be honest, this drama isn't just about fancy sneakers. It's Nike basically admitting they wasted years pushing the wrong face while Clark's presence alone makes their website crash harder than your grandma's Facebook feed. If you support Caitlin, then comment baby goat down below. Let's go. Caitlin and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear her. Alright, let's break out the receipts because numbers never sugarcoat. A'ja Wilson's kicks, sure, they launched with a lot of hype, but reports are saying there's still pretty much plenty of stock that it's soon bound for the clearance rack. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark waltzes in, launches a Kobe collaboration before she even has her own signature line, and 13,000 pairs vanish in roughly a minute. Not 5, not 10, literally 60 seconds. It wasn't a product drop, it was a feeding frenzy. Well, I don't think I'd be in a wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs on sneakers out tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult cop. But my hope, seriously, is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Cobes drop for the public. The Nike site didn't just lag, it practically threw up a white flag. Secondary markets immediately lit up with resale prices soaring from $350 all the way to $600. When Caitlin Clark gear hits the shelves, it's like Black Friday on steroids. Meanwhile, Wilson's line gathering dust and getting quietly shuffled to the clearance rack. These things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire. And these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? 'Cause I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall and I need one for my feet 'cause these things is hidden right here. No, I don't want to pay $600 on GOAT. Now, here's the real juicy part. Nike spent 2 entire years pampering A'ja Wilson's sneaker line. They showered her with the royal treatment. Custom logos, her pick of designs, personal touches all over the place. Celtic symbols to honor her parents, grandma's favorite sayings on the sole, you name it. It was less a basketball shoe and more a family scrapbook you could lace up. I lost all respect for A'ja Wilson. I don't want to hear her opinions. I don't care what she has to say from this point on. When you keep a Nike deal 2 years in secret while you're spewing all that crazy stuff about Caitlin Clark in the Time magazine. Read it. Read what she said in the Time magazine. Yet you had a Nike deal the whole entire time. Meanwhile, Caitlin's still rocking repurposed Cobes. No personal logo, no signature line yet, and somehow they outsell Wilson's handcrafted masterpieces by laughable margins. Nike gave Wilson every toy in the chest. Yet Clark's hand-me-downs break the internet without even trying. It's almost tragic. Almost. So, it's finally here. Caitlin Clark's sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion. But nonetheless, I'm excited 'cause these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend. Rest in peace, great basketball player. But in my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So, I feel like at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have for her first shoe had her own original design just for her. No. And we've got to talk about the giant pink elephant in the room. A'ja Wilson's Me First Energy. This is a woman who's been hustling harder for personal accolades than most politicians during election season. She finally got her custom kicks, her mysterious logo that nobody understands, her fancy Nike commercials even directed by Malia Obama. And she still acts like the universe owes her more applause. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just steps onto the court, drops a casual 30-footer, and oops, she's Nike's biggest female cash cow since MJ. Wilson's out here loudly demanding her flowers, while Clark quietly builds her empire just by existing and being awesome at basketball. And all this was done while the shoes being developed, the collections being done to demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I find this little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one, too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but she didn't. The best part, Nike tried so hard to make A'ja happen. They cut her a $20+ million extension, built entire ad campaigns around her supposed diamond in the rough persona, and hyped up her story like a telemarketer on a caffeine binge. But guess what? You can't fake what Caitlin naturally has. Clark inked her own 8-year, $28 million deal and instantly became Nike's most powerful female brand without them lifting a single extra marketing finger. Every time she hits the hardwood in Nike gear, it's like a multi-million-dollar commercial. They didn't even have to storyboard. Wilson needs stylists, scriptwriters, and choreographed promos. Clark just needs a ball and a hoop, and she's printing money. Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark in her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo. Now, let's dive into the cold business reality because this is where A'ja Wilson's entire fantasy crumbles. Caitlin Clark personally generated an estimated $82 million in economic impact for the state of Iowa alone. That's right, $82 million. All thanks to one 23-year-old kid from West Des Moines who decided to torch the NCAA record books. Her influence is so massive, it's practically a cultural meteor strike. Meanwhile, Nike's execs must be kicking themselves for ignoring the female version of Michael Jordan sitting right in front of them while they tried to sell us a different story with Wilson. The writing was neon bright from day one, but Nike was too busy checking boxes on their social justice spreadsheet to see it. All eyes be tonight's magic. We are in for a show. Bouncing on it. Lays it in on a delectable dime for Qua. Music. Former Nike basketball marketing head Jordan Rodgers even went public to drag his old employer, basically telling them, "Congrats, you clowns. Just let your golden goose nearly slip away." Their stock tanked to a 5-year low while they were out here trying to force-feed fans a brand story that nobody was buying. Instead of riding the actual tidal wave that is Caitlin Clark, they were fumbling around trying to manufacture buzz around Wilson like she was Gretchen Wieners trying to make fetch happen. Spoiler alert. It never did. Your stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan. And you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe. Now all of a sudden Nike is finally rubbing the sleep out of their eyes. Caitlin Clark's Kobe drop hits and the internet doesn't just slow down. It actually implodes like full meltdown mode. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson is off in the corner watching her meticulously plotted months-long rollout get completely eclipsed by Clark's casual Tuesday sneaker release that she barely even promoted. The difference is so glaring it's almost comical. Wilson needs teaser campaigns, photoshoots, influencer seeding, PR tours, and even then, struggles to move her shoes. Clark just posts a photo and next thing you know, people are lining up around the block like they're trying to snag the last PS5 on Earth. And you know what's really eating A'ja alive? It's that Nike is finally admitting what every sane person has seen for years. Clark doesn't just sell sneakers. She sells hope, hype, and the dream that you too could launch threes from the logo. The public spoke loud and clear with their wallets. Caitlin is tomorrow, and Wilson's over here desperately clinging to yesterday's buzz trying to stay in the frame. You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race-baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win. So win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from. And you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something out. The market doesn't lie. No matter how many Twitter threads Wilson stands spin up, Nike's been throwing every perk at Wilson. MVP trophies, Olympic hardware, endless promo, and yet couldn't buy the kind of authentic frenzy Clark brings effortlessly. Wilson's resume looks shiny on paper, sure, but Clark's gravitational pull goes way beyond box scores. She isn't just a baller. She's a living, breathing pop culture moment who happens to drop dimes for fun. And Nike, after fumbling this realization for way too long, finally got the memo. Because it turns out you can't manufacture what Clark naturally radiates. She never begged to be crowned the face of the sport. She just showed up, dominated, and let the world organically rally around her. Meanwhile, Wilson's out here basically campaigning like she's running for local office, complete with slogans, pity plays, and demands for more respect. I find this very deplorable to me. I find it's very deplorable that you allow Caitlin Clark to get crapped on that whole entire time and even speak up. And on top of that, Nike's a bunch of a-holes, too, because they didn't speak up and defend Caitlin Clark or speak up and say, hey, we got Age of Shoe coming. We got Agent Shoe coming. Just got to be patient. Caitlin Clark's going to get hers, too. I don't understand the tactics here. All you're causing controversy that didn't had to be there. You're calling division where it didn't had to be there. You're calling racial, issues where it didn't have to be there. Nike's pivot isn't just smart, it's downright essential. They were so busy crafting Wilson's image from scratch that they missed Clark single-handedly lifting the entire WNBA into the mainstream spotlight. Her games easily top 1 million viewers, while other matchups are lucky to flirt with 300,000. When Clark's in town, ticket sales explode. Little kids wear her jersey like they're dressing up as their favorite superhero. That's not a marketing team's Photoshop magic. That's genuine world-shifting star power that brands dream about. So when Clark's Cobes hit Nike's online shop, people were smashing refresh like they were trying to buy reunion tour tickets for a band that broke up before they were born. Meanwhile, Wilson's shoe drops feel more like boring chores that Nike's quietly guilt-tripping fans into doing. Clark's launches are basically Christmas morning for hoop heads. I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlyn as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlyn more. And then, obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this. So many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner like camping out trying to get the shoe. And the irony, it's absolutely delicious. Wilson spent years griping that she didn't get enough shine, whining about how long it took Nike to finally give her a signature line, ranting that the media didn't anoint her the undisputed queen. All the while, Clark just kept her head down, dropping highlight reel after highlight reel, packing arenas, and accidentally turning into the global ambassador Wilson always dreamed of being. Clark didn't stomp around demanding the crown. She just flat out earned it to the point that even Nike had to say, "Okay, wow, we really blew this one. Let's not gloss over this." Nike's servers literally couldn't keep up with Caitlin Clark. This is a multi-billion-dollar empire with state-of-the-art infrastructure, and they still crashed under the tidal wave of fans clamoring to grab a pair of Clark's shoes. That's more than impressive. That's history-making. Wilson's launches cause a tiny hiccup at best. Clark's releases spark digital tsunamis that probably show up on Nike's investor call PowerPoints with terrified little graphs. Heard that Nike stocked about 14,000 of these, and that is an unconfirmed report, but they sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand. And again, money doesn't care about your feelings. Wilson can polish her trophy case all day, but Clark's out here with something you simply can't design in a lab. An innate electricity that makes millions of people want to spend money just to feel connected to her magic. Nike finally saw that propping up Wilson was like betting big on MySpace stock in 2010. Meanwhile, they had basketball's Netflix sitting right there wearing Adidas in college, ready to revolutionize their entire women's category if they just get out of their own way. Now they're scrambling to catch up while Wilson watches the dream scenario she spent years publicly begging for slide into Clark's effortlessly cool hands. So sure, Wilson's sneakers will keep trickling out to hardcore WNBA devotees who think buying them is some statement of solidarity, but Clark's kicks, those will keep selling out to every demographic imaginable. Kids, dads, moms, teenagers who couldn't name 3 other WNBA players but know Clark's logo like it's the Batman symbol. That's the huge divide between niche activism merch and global pop culture dominance. Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlin Clark defect. Nike spent an embarrassing fortune trying to script A'ja Wilson into superstardom while the actual superstar was out here breaking attendance records and casually turning every arena into a sellout tour date. Now they're finally scrambling to put the full marketing muscle behind Caitlin because they realize this is bigger than basketball. Clark is a walking cultural moment that cuts across ages, regions, and fan bases. Wilson's ceiling was always there, glaringly obvious. Clark, we still haven't even found the top. And this train isn't slowing down. Clark's influence is snowballing. Nike's finally hopped on the right bandwagon. And Wilson, well, she can keep tweeting for more respect, while the cash registers and server meltdowns make it clear who's really driving the future of the sport. This isn't a forecast. This isn't a wait and see. The revolution's already in full swing, and Nike just woke up in time to realize who their actual golden ticket was because the market doesn't care about carefully crafted campaigns. It cares about Caitlin Clark, and it just voted loud and clear with every sold-out size 9 on Earth. If you support Caitlin, then comment Baby Goat down below. Beyond the initial frenzy, there's another fascinating layer: the social media echo chamber that Caitlin Clark commands. Her posts don't just go viral, they become cultural landmarks, referenced by late-night hosts, dissected by analysts, and remixed by influencers. When she teased a glimpse of her shoe on Instagram, it outperformed entire WNBA team accounts in engagement within hours. Meanwhile, Nike's cautious approach with A'ja Wilson is becoming a business school case study on what happens when brand loyalty is manufactured rather than earned. Analysts have started coining the term, the Clark effect, to describe the ripple she creates across multiple industries, from sports merchandising to streaming viewership spikes. For example, streaming services reported that games featuring Clark drew 250% more concurrent viewers compared to the WNBA average. Entire local economies have shifted. Restaurants, bars, and even small vendors report record sales on nights Clark plays, a phenomenon usually reserved for major men's championships. Nike insiders anonymously revealed that Clark's success has ignited internal debates about reshaping their entire women's marketing division, shifting focus from empowerment slogans to authentic stardom. Board members reportedly demanded emergency sessions to re-evaluate long-term endorsements, fearing they'd missed a generational opportunity with her earlier. Other brands are also pivoting. Gatorade and State Farm have launched Clark-specific regional ads, testing markets that traditionally ignored women's basketball entirely. Local TV stations in Iowa and Indiana have started syndicating mini-documentaries about her journey, further boosting her visibility beyond just the core sports fanbase. In high schools, girls' basketball signups are up by 47% in areas where Clark's games have aired nationally, echoing the Tiger Woods effect seen in golf decades ago. Some coaches are even adjusting training curriculums to focus on long-range shooting and fast-tempo offenses, directly inspired by Clark's style. Economically, analysts estimate that a future signature Clark shoe line, distinct from her Kobe collabs, could become the fastest-selling women's athletic product in history, surpassing Serena Williams and even some LeBron drops in terms of initial sales velocity. On the other side, A'ja Wilson's line continues to struggle. Market reports suggest stores are sitting on 65% of initial stock, despite markdowns and influencer partnerships. This has led to backroom debates about whether to sunset her signature series altogether or rebrand it entirely. Even on the resale market, Clark's merchandise is reshaping secondary pricing dynamics. Platforms like StockX and GOAT have set up dedicated landing pages for her gear, with algorithms flagging her items as high-priority trend movers, a privilege usually reserved for Travis Scott or Kanye West collaborations. In the cultural realm, professors at major universities have started using Clark as a case study in modern sports branding, highlighting how authenticity, relatability, and genuine excellence can surpass even the most expensive marketing machines. Meanwhile, Wilson's management team has reportedly approached publicists and crisis managers to reframe her image, including potential pivots into lifestyle or entertainment ventures, such as podcasting or acting roles. Caitlin's trajectory isn't just reshaping the sneaker market, it's rewriting the blueprint for what it means to be a modern sports icon. She embodies a raw, almost punk rock defiance against curated narratives, an effortless magnetism that money simply can't replicate. And as Nike scrambles to catch up, the entire industry watches, learning the hard lesson that star power cannot be forced. It must be earned, or in Clark's case, simply lived. If you support Caitlin, comment Baby Goat down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update on this once-in-a-generation phenomenon. Beyond the initial sellout frenzy, Caitlin Clark's impact is unfolding in ways that even the biggest marketing execs never predicted. Her rise isn't just a sneaker story, it's becoming a living case study in modern cultural dominance. On Wall Street, investors are now referring to Caitlin as the blue chip of women's sports. Private memos from investment firms suggest they're tracking companies connected to Clark, with some hedge funds even proposing new sports influencer index funds that would include Nike shares weighted by her projected sales impact. Analysts at major sports marketing agencies have coined a new metric called athlete magnetic score, used to measure the gravitational pull of a star beyond their sport. According to leaked reports, Clark has already surpassed global icons like Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka in certain U.S. regions, a benchmark that was once considered unreachable. On the educational front, business schools and MBA programs have rushed to add case studies about the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, focusing on how her natural charisma and authentic approach destroyed traditional marketing playbooks. Professors are using her story to teach the power of organic audience building versus manufactured hype. Ticket sales tell an even wilder story. Some venues hosting Clark's games are selling out entire seasons in a matter of days. Cities are experiencing Caitlin Clark nights, with local economies booming as restaurants, bars, and hotels fill to capacity whenever she plays. Small vendors outside arenas are reporting record-breaking merch sales, rivaling major concert tours. Internationally, she's sparking a never-before-seen wave of interest in women's basketball. Fan clubs dedicated to Clark are popping up in places like the Philippines, Nigeria, Turkey, and Argentina, places that previously didn't even broadcast WNBA games consistently. Social media reels of her highlights are now trending above major soccer leagues in certain markets. In the fashion world, streetwear designers are reportedly developing entire lines inspired by Clark's on-court energy and personal style. Rumors suggest brands like Off-White, Fear of God, and even luxury houses like Balenciaga have reached out for potential collaborations. Some insiders predict her first true signature line could outperform Kanye's early Yeezy releases in hype and resale value. Meanwhile, Nike board members are said to be holding emergency strategy meetings, terrified that a competitor, like Adidas or Reebok, might offer Clark a record-breaking contract to lure her away. Sources hint at a rumored lifetime deal being discussed internally to lock her in, similar to what they did with LeBron James. At the grassroots level, high school girls' basketball signups have surged dramatically in states where Clark's games have aired nationally. Coaches are redesigning training sessions to focus on deep shooting and fast-paced offense, directly mimicking Clark's signature style. Sports psychologists are studying this effect as a new form of social inspiration, usually only seen after male superstars like Kobe or Steph Curry. In corporate circles, big tech companies like Apple and Meta are reportedly exploring augmented reality (AR) projects starring Clark. Imagine fans virtually training with her, or interactive experiences where you can shoot logo threes alongside her in your living room. That's the scale of conversation happening behind closed doors. Netflix is also rumored to be negotiating a major docuseries, chronicling her journey from her Iowa roots to WNBA superstardom. Insiders believe it could break records for first-month views, potentially surpassing even The Last Dance in global hours watched. Culturally, Caitlin has transcended the label of athlete. She embodies a blend of girl-next-door relatability with unstoppable global icon energy, a combination so potent it's nearly impossible to replicate. Unlike athletes forced into empowerment campaigns with manufactured taglines, Clark's appeal is raw, natural, and undeniable. While A'ja Wilson continues to seek validation through orchestrated media moments and rehearsed soundbites, Clark quietly dominates by simply being herself, filling arenas, shattering records, and turning every game into a cultural event. At this point, it's not just about sneakers. Clark is shifting how an entire generation sees women's sports. She's forcing executives to rewrite decades of marketing strategy and proving that authentic excellence will always outshine synthetic storytelling. And as Nike scrambles to correct its course, they're realizing far too late that you can't force a superstar, you have to recognize one when she's right in front of you. If you support Caitlin, comment Baby Goat down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update about this once-in-a-generation icon. The ripple effects of Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise are already stretching far beyond sports, turning her into an unexpected economic force across multiple industries. In Asia, major sporting goods distributors are re-evaluating entire product lines to prepare for an expected Clark wave. Chinese and Korean retailers have reported massive spikes in online searches for women's basketball gear, a market segment that was previously niche and underinvested. Analysts forecast a $500 million growth opportunity in the next 3 years across East Asia alone, driven largely by Clark's appeal. In Europe, Particularly in basketball-obsessed markets like Spain, Italy, and France, local clubs are seeing a surge in young girls signing up for basketball camps, many explicitly citing Clark as their inspiration. Tourism boards in the U.S. are also preparing special packages to attract international fans to WNBA games featuring Clark, predicting millions in hospitality revenue. Meanwhile, supply chain logistics firms are accelerating investments in advanced inventory tracking systems to handle unpredictable surges in demand similar to the recent Clark sneaker drop. The secondary resale market is exploding too. Projections suggest that Clark-related merchandise could surpass $1 billion in total resale value globally by 2026. Future brand scenarios. As for the future, brand strategists see multiple Clark scenarios playing out. The global lifestyle empire. Caitlyn transcends basketball entirely, becoming a global lifestyle brand akin to Michael Jordan or even Rihanna's Fenty. She could expand into apparel, beauty, health supplements, and digital experiences. Private equity firms are already modeling potential brand spin-offs under her name, with projected valuations exceeding $3 billion if she enters multiple verticals. The legacy sports icon Clark sticks strictly to sports and builds her brand around performance gear, training academies, and global basketball clinics. This scenario could see her establishing the most successful female-focused sports academy in history, potentially backed by Nike or Gatorade. Early architectural sketches for Clark training centers have reportedly circulated among major sports architects, envisioning facilities that double as tourist destinations. The media mogul pivot Clark leverages her influence into entertainment and media. Think her own production company, branded documentaries, youth media platforms, and original series. Netflix and Amazon Prime have already informally discussed co-producing content that fuses sports, female empowerment, and personal storytelling, all centered around Clark. Behind-the-scenes executive debates inside Nike's headquarters, the atmosphere is described as a mix of excitement and controlled panic. According to insiders, emergency strategy meetings have been happening almost daily since the latest sneaker sellout. Some executives are pushing to reallocate nearly 40% of the women's marketing budget directly to Clark initiatives, fearing a competitor like Adidas might attempt a record-breaking counteroffer. Rumors suggest Adidas has already prepared a Godfather offer, a multi-year, potentially billion-dollar package involving shares, global creative control, and an immediate global rollout of a Clark-centric line. Meanwhile, board members are reportedly frustrated with the A'ja Wilson division, questioning why they doubled down on her while ignoring early data that clearly showed Clark's superior market pull. One source said a top executive called it the biggest misallocation of female marketing spend in sports history during a heated meeting. Executives are also debating how to handle potential backlash. There's concern that a sudden pivot to Clark could be perceived as abandoning their prior commitments to diversity narratives. Some suggest introducing a dual ambassador program to retain Wilson in a smaller, community-focused role while pushing Clark as the global face. On the investor side, shareholder pressure is intensifying. At least 3 major institutional investors have privately threatened to dump Nike stock if the company fails to secure Clark long-term and doesn't present a concrete global strategy by the next quarterly call. Global retail partners are jumping on the Clark train as well. Major chains in Japan, Germany, and the UK are reportedly ready to allocate entire sections to Clark-only gear. Some are even planning limited edition in-store events, similar to Apple product launches, to coincide with her future drops. Industry-wide, brand strategists see Clark as the catalyst for a full reset in women's sports marketing. Instead of vague girl power slogans, they predict a future where individual excellence and real star power drive campaigns, merchandise, and media deals. Caitlyn Clark isn't just changing basketball, she's triggering economic shifts, forcing billion-dollar brand pivots, and making executives rewrite entire playbooks under immense pressure. If you support Caitlyn, comment Baby Goat down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of this era-defining journey.